Hello everybody and welcome once again. Today we're just going to be doing a quick video to get everybody's attention and let you know about this event that is upcoming just a couple days from now. So, GudaGuda Final Honnoji, this is the rerun of this event. For completing this event, you're going to get this servant that you can see right here on the right hand side of the screen. That's Kagetora. I normally don't make these kinds of videos. The problem is Kagetora is, in my opinion, one of the very best servants in the entire game, regardless of being a free servant or a 5-star or whatever. Any way you want to slice it, I think Kagetora is a top tier servant, and I want as many of you as possible to get her because this is the last chance that you will have at her. So please, please, please be ready to play this event and get this servant because she will really, you will really benefit from having her, I should say. Okay, so as I mentioned, this is the rerun version of this event. It's actually going to start tonight after the reset that comes up after I put up this video. So please try to be ready for it. I know a lot of people are really excited about like 0 AP main story, and that's great. Use your regular AP to go through this while you're continuing to have 0 AP on your main story. Please, even if you're going to skip the story for this event, just use up as much AP as you can to try to clear this event, even if you're going to continue to play main story while the 0 AP continues. So, it will start pretty soon, as I mentioned. It'll go until the 2nd of next month. And this is open to just about everybody. You only need to have cleared Fuyuki, which should apply to all of you since that takes like 30 minutes. As is the case with most events that only require Fuyuki to be completed, this is a fairly easy event. I once cleared this entire event, 100% completion, with an account that was like less than a month old when this original event happened. So this is really a pretty simple event. A big part of the reasoning for that we'll get into in just a minute, but generally it's quite simple and doable. The way it works is you're going to have this map. It's going to have various locations. As you complete the free quests and advance the story, you're going to conquer more and more of the map. As you do so, you will... here we go. Every time you complete a quest of any kind, you will gain these 4 items, these rations: powder, iron, and QP. And then as your control of the map gets larger, every quest completed will give you more and more of these items per completed quest. Excuse me. So that's what you want to be doing, is that some quests will require you to have, you know, X amount of each of these items in your inventory in order to initiate the quest, so you might have to go and farm a little bit, but it's not generally a farming heavy event. It's mostly kind of similar to like a story chapter. It's not one that requires you to go off and farm forever and ever and ever. It's a pretty snappy event. You'll be able to move along with it pretty quickly and with relatively little farming, unless you want to farm for clearing the shop out of items, that kind of thing. Every once in a while you get these territory control quests. These are slightly harder, but again, most of them are pretty easy, and they're made easier by the fact that where'd it go? Here we go. During those, you'll get given a list of NPC support characters that you can use, and one of them will have this sign right here that says best fit, and if you choose that one, you'll go into the fight with an extra, like they'll buff your entire party, or debuff the enemy in some kind of dramatic way that makes these fights really quite doable, even for people with rather limited rosters. You can get this pretty nifty command code. This is good for a lot of servants who you use as like boss killers. Most bosses in events and story chapters tend to be servants. A lot of servants are divine, so getting bonus critical damage against divine enemies, pretty useful for anybody who you're regularly using to fight other servants. Ignore Invincible is just a permanent ignore invincible to 1 card, so that's pretty neat as well. As I mentioned earlier, this is not necessarily a farming heavy event. These little dragon orbs that you see in the middle of the screen are Kagetora's ascension materials. You will actually just get these for completing quests within the event. You don't need to go farm 800,000 currency to buy up all of her ascension items. You will just be given them as you play the event. and I believe her other copies work the same way, although it's been a while since I played this and I'm not totally certain about that. A big part of what makes this event so easy is that during its duration, Kagetora receives double EXP. She also receives a 100% damage bonus for the duration of this event, so you get her for free right at the beginning of the event, and then you'll get her permanently as you complete the event. But as soon as you get her, you should start leveling her, because she's going to be extremely easy to level while this event is ongoing, and then she's also going to get a massive damage boost for its duration. So get her quickly, level her up, and then she will carry you through this entire event if she has to. And again, leveling her is quite simple because double EXP, and then you just get given her ascension materials. So absolutely get on this right away, level her all the way up to 80 while this is ongoing. And by the way, if you are somebody who wants to grail her and take her past level 80, she will continue to receive double EXP into levels that are higher than her natural level cap while this event is ongoing. So if you want to grail her, this is the best time to do that you're ever going to get. Also associated with this event, we're going to get a couple of upgrade quests for Demon King Nobunaga, Okitsusoji Altar, and Oda Nobunaga Berserker. That's the summer version. So pretty cool if you have any of those servants. And if not, you're in luck, because there's going to be a summoning banner that will have all of them as well. This is a pretty good summoning banner. You can see Mori Nagayoshi in the back there with the red hair. Pretty strong single target 3-star Berserker. You can see Old Man Lee, quite a good single target arts assassin. Nobu Summer, pretty decent servant. Okita Altar, I think, is highly underrated. Alter Ego, so she gets partial class advantage against all cavalry classes. So if you are really struggling to find like an assassin or a caster who's a good AoE DPS, because those are quite rare, you can get a Alter Ego such as Okita here, who can essentially be your caster DPS, your assassin DPS, your rider DPS, etc., and do all those jobs in one servant. So I think she's really good for a lot of players who are who don't have as gigantic a roster as somebody like me, where maybe, your best assassin AoE damage dealer is like Charles Babbage or something, and you're just really struggling to kill riders. Okita Alter, or Charles Babbage is a caster, so you'd be struggling to kill assassins. Excuse me, you kind of see what I'm saying. She gets class advantage against all of the cavalry classes, so against riders, assassins, casters, and berserkers. It's really good servant. Covers a lot of roles. You can pair her with a Merlin from your friends list, and she'll just get nutty damage numbers sometimes. Also on the banner is Demon King Nobunaga. Not as good. She's kind of a lower tier 5-star by most people's reckoning. She does have her finer points though, and that upgrade that she's going to get here does go a good little ways towards addressing some of the issues that she released with. So pretty good banner if you don't have anything on the immediate horizon. This is a decent one to consider rolling on. For anybody who is unaware of what Kagetora kind of does, I'm going to show off mine just a little bit to end this video. Obviously, mine is going to be a little bit further along than probably most of you are going to take yours, but this serves as a good example of how far you can push her if you want to. So stats like this, as I mentioned, are going to be probably out of reach for most of you unless you're super into her like I am and are willing to give all your gold foes to her, which, to be honest, you should be. This is the craft essence that I'm going to use in the fight that I'm going to show her off in just a moment. This is the real thing that I want to show. These are her skills. Skill 1 increases art card effectiveness for 1 turn, and increases crit star gather rate for 1 turn. Her second skill gives her 1 turn of evade and also increases NP gain. And her third skill increases attack for 3 turns for all party members, as well as critical strength, as well as critical star drop rate for everybody. So you can see there's pretty good synergy already between all these skills, where she can use this one to help everybody generate more stars, help the whole party deal more damage if that's applicable, but also herself. She also buffs her own crit strength, she buffs her own crit gather, she buffs her own art card effectiveness, she buffs her own NP gain, so there's a lot of effects here that kind of play off of each other. You'll also notice it's very well balanced in that she has a skill that buffs herself highly, she buffs the whole party, and then she can defend herself as well, so she has a little bit of a response to kind of every situation. Her cooldowns are also quite low. Her Noble Phantasm, as a free servant, you're gonna get her to NP5 just for completing the event. So everybody has her at NP5 basically. And she gets pretty crazy damage, especially if both of her two skills up here are active. She also has these passives, but those are usually so minor that I'm not going to bother. So her Noble Phantasm deals significant damage and removes attack buffs and decreases crit rate for a single enemy. So it's single target, does extremely high damage. It removes attack buffs and decreases their crit rate, as I mentioned. I don't know why I just read all that out a second time. Point being, it's really good for not only dealing a lot of damage, but from preventing the enemy from dealing a lot of damage back to you. Being able to remove all of an enemy's attack buffs can, you know, if you're fighting an enemy who continually stacks their own attack buffs, she can be used to wipe those out and reset them, in which case they've now thrown away, hopefully, a bunch of their turns, buffing themselves for no real reason. So that's going to limit their damage. Also, reducing an enemy's crit rate is quite good, because enemies, when they crit you, especially as you get later into the Lost Belts or that kind of thing, they crit really hard. Enemy crit rates tend to be quite low, though, unless you're fighting like a Spriggan or something that, again, continually buffs its own crit rate. So if you can get this NP off once, you can essentially say that enemy is not going to crit you again until the effect wears off. So you can, between those two effects, she's actually quite good at mitigating the enemy's damage while also dealing a lot of damage of her own. So, with all that said, we're going to go into a quest that I'm going to solo with Kagetora, so you can kind of get a sense of her gameplay and what she looks like in action. Okay, this is a free quest from, this is Lost Belt 2, I believe. So we're going to have Chengdong do his thing and get the heck out of the way so that Kagetora can get to work here. Okay. So she has a pretty good deck of cards with 2 Buster cards, 2 Art cards, and 1 crit. Her Noble Phantasm is arts, so she fits into most kind of art teams as a main DPS. And we're going to fight at least 1 archer during this quest as well, so you can get a sense for how she works when she has real class advantage rather than just against berserkers. And again, temper your own expectations a little bit based on what you're seeing here, because mine has quite a bit going for herself in terms of command codes, as you can see, and gold foes, and she's grailed to 100. So I've taken very good care of her. If you're not going to do all of that, I still really recommend getting her. I think she is still an extremely strong servant for just about everybody. She's also a very interesting servant lore-wise. She's kind of a somewhat rare case of a gender bend working really well, because if you look into the history behind it, there's a pretty good chance that this historical character who this servant is based off of might have actually been a woman pretending to be a man. There's some very interesting things about them that have been written that I will leave for you to look into for yourself. But she's quite an interesting servant lore-wise. I think her personality is really fun. I think her animations are really fun. I just, in every respect, I really, really like this servant. I think it's fun when she makes me wait half an hour to see her noble phantasm. I don't know what's going on. So as you can see, that's pretty impressive damage numbers that we just got there. And then when her skills are active, she gets NP gain that's so good that we're most of the way back and we didn't even get either of those crits. So she can really get her NP going quite regularly, especially if you put her in a team where she's not by herself. Like if you pair her with, I don't know, Kagetora or Tamamo or Waver or Paracelsus or whoever that can continue to buff her already impressive arts card performance, you've really got a heck of a servant on your hands. If you'd like to try her out for yourself and see what kinds of things you can come up with, you can give me my follow code. You can put my follow code into the game under the friends menu. It is on screen right now. It is also in the description of this video. She is in my Lancer slot. She is almost always in my Lancer slot. You can try her out during your Part 1 story quests and see how impressive she's going to perform. I really, really urge you guys. I know, like I said, a lot of people are trying to grind through as much of the main story as they can right now because there's 0 AP, and I understand that. But I just really urge you guys to put a little bit of time to clearing this event and getting the servant for yourself, because I really think that she is so good for so many players. So please consider. Also in the description of this video is going to be a way to contact me on Discord if you have longer form discussions that you want to have, bigger, more complex questions than you feel that you can put in the YouTube comments. That's totally fine. You can give me a contact there and let me know what's up. We can figure something out. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you take my advice to heart and put in enough time to clear this event. As I mentioned, it's pretty easy. It's not terribly long, and the rewards are so worth it. So please do. Thanks so much for watching. I will see you next time.